The Exorcist Believer is directed by David Gordon Green, and it stars Olivia O'Neill, Lyda Jewett, Ellen Bernson, and Leslie Odom Jr., and is about friends Angela and Catherine who encounter a demonic force out in the woods, then possessing them. Terrified and desperate, the daughter's parents seek the help of Chris McNeil, the other person alive who's witnessed anything like it. I want to go on record to say that I love the original Exorcist, especially after reviewing it. The second one I've never seen, but I've heard is really bad. The third one, I actually heard that it has a bit of a following. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
But after seeing the trailer for this new one, Exorcist Believer, I was kind of apprehensive about it, especially since the person who handled the project is David Gordon Green, responsible for the recent Halloween trilogy that went nowhere. But don't get me wrong, I love 2018, and I was even a fan of Halloween Kills, despite how stupid some of those characters were.
Evil dies tonight! Evil dies tonight! All right.
Yeah, so seeing the trailer for Exorcist Believer and going to see the film, I went to go see this film at the Quarry, and the vibe was set right. My theater was Stadium 5, which was in the way back, and so I had to walk this long, dark hallway, and with my brother, because my brother was also with me. So finally sitting down, it was creepy. So it set the tone for the film. And after finally sitting down and watching the film, I could confidently say that, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer.
You're not a
I did
believer.
I did not like this film. I thought it was not good. I thought it was terrible. But I know you just got out of the theater right now watching it.
Literally just got out, yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was a perfect missed opportunity. It really was.
Yeah.
The fact that they brought, I don't know,
we'll talk
I'll
about it.
I'll get into it because this movie really fucking frustrated me.
First, let me get into the positives before I rip this movie apart. I thought the first half was actually pretty good.
It was, yeah.
And throughout the entire runtime, I thought all the performances all around were good. The girls
Especially
did great.
Child actors? You don't see it. Yeah, you don't hear praises too often for child actors.
They actually did pretty good.
They really did.
But I think the standout in the film was the dad.
The character himself was...
Yeah, the one that Leslie Odom Jr. plays. Yeah. He's the real standout of this movie, performance-wise. Everyone else I could care less about, but the first half really feels like a mystery thriller, like a missing person movie. And then the tone and the atmosphere is all there. Like, this movie's directed exactly the way like Halloween, which was sometimes good and sometimes I was like, maybe they're in the same fucking universe, maybe they'll cross over, but but
Michael Myers is the demon who possessed the girls.
The curse of Michael Myers. When I saw her face. But the first half kind of reminded me of Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Sorry for mentioning that movie in this review, but
Prisoners.
It was like it was about those two girls getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that in the first half.
I've heard television.
But it isn't until, and I think this is when we'll start getting to spoilers in a bit. Just letting y'all know, but it's really when the girls get possessed. And then they bring in Chris McNeil's character, where I think the movie tanks hard.
They ruined her character.
First of all, I think the parents of Catherine, those parents were stupid. I thought they were dumb.
Oh yeah.
I think the way they're possessed is so dumb because they just go into the woods, nothing's explained.
Yeah.
They just come out and then they just start pissing themselves and throwing tantrums. And then right away they're like, it's the devil this, it's the devil that. And like they're just rushing. And speaking of the first half too, there's very small like scares or anything demonic or anything like that. So I feel like the filmmakers were like, oh, let's throw in a couple of cheap jump scares.
Dude,
and all these dumb
starts with a jump scare with two dogs fighting.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted to bring up. The scares in this movie are nothing like the original movie gives you this feeling of, like I said, really unease. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel nasty and dirty when you're watching. This one's more of more of a jump scare fest, man. It's awful. It's
let me get into this film. There's a scene where this is when the daughter's missing and the dad arrives home and it looks like it's broken into and he goes home.
Oh my God.
His friend breaks into his home to bless his home, and we're introduced to this magic pixie dust lady, and y'all will understand why I call her that at the end of this review. But
this bitch.
He opens her bedroom door and she's sitting in her bed, and then his friend comes behind him. Hey!
Jump scare.
It was
a cheap ass jump scare.
It was so dumb. Who the fuck does that shit? Nobody does that.
Nobody does.
It was obviously there because nothing was happening demonic or demon-like. So later on, going into the Chris McNeil's character being brought in, which I thought was so disrespectful to the legacy of the Exorcist franchise. You bring in this character, and she comes in
a legacy character of that.
Yeah, she comes in talking about how she did all this research on the demonology,
going through different religions that have nothing to do with what happened with her daughter.
Why?
There's no reason
she had no business being in this movie.
There really wasn't.
And I think she was the marketing behind this film to get people. And I know there's fans of the first film that are going to go and watch this film just for her, and they're going to walk out so disappointed.
Yeah.
So disappointed. And then it just shits on everything the original did, especially when she goes into that room and confronts this demon right before another dumb jump scare when the girl goes up to the glass. Like she's like all breathing on it heavy and shit. So she goes to the house, Chris McNeil, she goes to the house and confronts the demon. What does the demon do? She stabs her in the fucking eyes.
It's not just stabbing her. She stabs her in the eyes with a crucifix of all things.
Yeah.
Fucking crucifix of all things. Stabs her in the eyes. Doesn't kill her, by the way. She doesn't die, just so you know.
And that's another thing, too.
After
5 minutes later, and for the rest of the film, she has bandages over her eyes. And she's talking like she's completely fine. Like she just didn't get her face obliterated by this demon. So fucking stupid.
You want to know what's worse than that? You want to know what's worse than that? She's stuck in a hospital bed the rest of the movie. With no lines whatsoever.
That kind of reminds me of something.
We fight. We always fight.
That's where I'll cut. Yeah.
Hold on, you were saying. So what I really don't like is bringing in legacy characters, which is what David Green does.
Yeah.
What he's been doing for the past, since what, 2018, 2017?
5-6 years.
Yeah. Bringing in legacy characters as a cash grab or as an audience getter, and then either killing them off, injuring them to the point where they're as of no use whatsoever.
I think this one's in a league of its own. This has to be one of the.
So?
This one has to be one of the biggest cash grabs I've ever seen.
Really?
Ever seen. This movie could have easily been another generic possession movie. This movie didn't need to be called Exorcist Believer. It could have been called another dumb possession movie called Exorcist Believer.
It could have just been Believer.
It could have.
It could have just been Believer. Now we'd fucking review it, but
or the possession of two girls who randomly just got demons inside them, because that's never explained. That's never been explained.
So what they do is after school, they go into the woods and they find this little ditch thing, whatever, and they go inside. And what was it? A necklace?
I guess they brought
or they bring something that the person they want to communicate with.
Yeah.
Not once do they show a demon rising up, besides random clips of faces in the fucking screen, which weren't even in black and white. I'd understand if they had them in black and white because Exorcist, whatever. But there's no reason for them to be possessed.
What made the first one, the original
They didn't
one,
build off of any kind of previous...
They didn't.
No.
But what made the original one so special is the atmosphere and realism created by the director and the writer, William Friedkin and William Peter Blatty, who
Who
He
knows?
just knocked it out of the park with the original
They
one.
crafted a story.
This one has
actual characters.
This one has uninteresting characters.
Besides the dad, which is still on that level.
Even that, these are story beats we've seen millions of times.
Oh, yeah.
I don't blame any of the actors. All the actors did a solid job. It's the
writing.
It's the material that they're given. It's the screenplay.
Yeah.
The screenplay is the issue. And
I wouldn't even call it just
this film had atmosphere in real life, kind of aiming for that realism in the first half, but the tone does a full 180 by the third act to where like it was laughably, inexcusably bad. Like starting with Chris McNeil's character going to confront the demon, which I thought was just disrespectful and honestly disgusting. I didn't fucking like that.
It was an absolute terrible choice to have. You could have created a brand new character for this movie, and just have
exactly.
They bring in a legacy character to fucking ruin it.
And just like Halloween, the Halloween trilogy, David Gordon Green likes to do this thing where he throws jokes in there. Before the actual exorcism, first of all, they take these girls out of the mental hospital.
Yeah.
And then just take them home like it was nothing. It was kind of stupid. That alone was too stupid.
I wouldn't mind an exorcist in a mental institution.
They could have just did it there.
They really could have.
But
a lot safer, right?
Yes, but talking about the exorcism itself, they're out planning what they're going to do. Meanwhile, the priest is being a bitch in the
stop. Don't get me started.
What made the characters in the original film were the
heroes,
priest.
Dude.
Heroes.
The priest was the actual hero of the movie. He not only puts his life before the child, he sacrifices himself. He goes above and beyond to allow the Pazuzu to take over him.
Yeah, and
he kills himself. This priest waits in the car for what? 30, 40 minutes?
A long time. He
doesn't come in until the end. And when he does come in, they make it seem like he's a fucking, this fucking hero. Comes in with music, everything.
Okay.
And then he fucking dies.
So, the priests in the original film were built like heroes and warriors throughout the entire film. Their characters were written so perfectly and were built by the third act. So by the third act, we gave a shit.
Yeah.
If I had a clip to describe the priests in this movie, it would have to be this.
Fuck this.
Yeah, exactly that. Except in this film, it wasn't intended to be funny.
Oh, bitch.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So, and then the film tries to do this bullshit where this motherfucker comes in
like a badass.
After crying in his car for an hour. He comes in reading the Bible and holding the cross and saying all this bullshit he probably Googled before walking into the room. And the director and the writers and filmmakers expect us to be like standing up and clapping. Yeah. But it isn't until a few seconds after he does that is where I felt like standing up and clapping, where he got his fucking head twisted off.
Not only his spine gets pulled halfway and then his head twisted and dropped. But there is a really, really cool line that I actually liked is when the dad's outside. He went to go pour that wish well water, whatever the fuck they were doing. And he tells the priest, hey, what are you doing? The fight's inside, and the priest is still sitting in his car. He takes off. I like that. It really shows how cowardly the priest was.
Yeah.
And I get they told him not to go in for some reason. The Jedi Council or whatever the hell he went to. They told him don't go in because someone could lose their life or whatever. Well, 2 kids' lives are in danger. They're putting the priest's life over the children's lives.
They didn't give a shit.
Movie. They really didn't care.
They did.
He didn't even argue to the fucking council or whatever.
This one does exactly the opposite of what the original did.
Yeah.
And it just disrespects it in every way. And like I was saying about because I kept finding new points in my going back to before the exorcism, the cracking jokes and stuff like that. Yeah. And then it's just the parents and the neighbors. Just the parents and neighbors that go in there and they're just saying shit. Like it was so far out of left field. It was honestly also honestly pissing me off. And then, okay, so remember when I was talking about the magic pixie dust lady? She comes in. Meanwhile, the girls are tweaking in the chairs. She throws some stupid ass powdered pixie dust in the fire. Meanwhile, the girls have the smoke coming out of their mouths. The smoke that was put into the fireplace meets the smoke that's coming out of the girls, and there's like this stupid fucking smoke CGI battle that's going on in the ceiling.
It reminded me.
And I was just like.
It reminded me of the Venom and Riot fight from the first Venom movie where you couldn't tell who the hell's what. It didn't make any sense, dude. It really didn't, dude. It didn't make any sense. You don't see that I thought was...
I know you had your positives with this film, but I think it's fucking terrible.
No, I'm not saying I like that fight scene with Venom, dude. I don't like that movie at all.
No, I was talking about Exorcist Believer. But yeah, going back to what you're saying with Venom.
I do. Don't get me wrong. I do have opinions on this movie that were kind of good, actually. One is the makeup, the child actors, and some scenes while they're possessed, when they're like laying in the bed, it's the tone's dark and whatever.
Yeah.
You can really, like, their teeth are bulging out of their heads, and that fucking caveman brow they had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
The makeup was
impressive.
Besides that CGI smoke, the makeup, all the practical effects were not bad. Like when she throws up that I don't know what it was. That
she threw up something. It was
like seaweed or some shit.
Was it?
Probably from that little river, or that little pond that they were found. But besides, like, the acting, which was not great, but it also wasn't bad. I think it's passable as in terms of what's come out this year. The effects were not bad. The setting also wasn't bad either.
It wasn't.
No, I can tell what they were doing with this small town vibe. You know,
mm-hmm.
The neighbors and shit. Everyone knows each other. Come together. But the neighbor was the nurse. Is that what it was?
Yeah, she was a nurse in the hospital.
Honestly,
she was everywhere.
She really was.
She was just showing up.
Yeah, she's like one of those cartoon characters. She has a job.
She invited herself to the Exorcist.
She did. She really did.
I'm a nurse and I can do exorcisms.
Yeah,
and I'll be there.
Well, she said that she was part of the Catholic Church and she had a baby, but she aborted it.
Dude.
And so they kicked her out, and so some shit like that. There's a really cool scene where one of the girls are like, oh, she tells her the backstory. She tells us the backstory of the lady.
You said the voices were good.
Yeah, they're okay.
I thought they sounded like goblins and leprechaun, but I didn't dig the voice, especially the girls themselves, dude. I did not like what they did with the girls, because going back to I gotta compare it to the original one, because this one brings in characters from that film, so I had no choice but to compare it. So you have to. So in the original one, the demons were characters. In the original one, the demon was a character himself. In this one, they're just growling and just saying like one-off things.
Yeah, we don't really have generic evil demon shit that they're saying. And
we don't really have conversations with them. They're just like taunting and growling, and
they really do taunt a lot that goes nowhere.
It doesn't.
And with that, when they're doing the exorcism, they're just throwing out generic phrases and shit from the Bible or some random prayer that they're doing. There's nothing that's personally, nothing that's really.
There was one thing that I heard the demon talk about, was that twist with the father and the mom, and he originally wanted the mom to survive.
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty good.
And then he gives him the final ultimatum of one of the girls surviving. Yeah, and then fucking. One thing I started laughing was the girl headbutted her dad, and he goes flying across
like 5 feet, or he goes flying right.
He hits the wall, and he gets right back up. No blood, no nothing, no welt from this fucking child headbutting the shit out of him.
You know what pissed me off was the ending where Chris McNeil is in the hospital.
And
then Reagan shows up, but her mom's all bandaged up. That didn't even need to happen.
So she can't even see the one person she's wanted to see since, 30 years was it, they said in the movie? It makes no sense, dude.
She didn't even need to be in this movie. She didn't. And most of her footage in the trailers is like 90% of her footage in the movie.
Yeah. She's in the movie probably a total, 10 minutes maybe?
Less, dude. Like 5.
Probably.
Ask me so. Less. The only conversation she has is the one at her home. And then the small demon conversation in the room. And then the ones that she's in the...
stabbed out, yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, she's fine. Just chilling, talking in the hospital. Oh, it's not your fault. Bro, like the whole head is bandaged
I'm sorry
up.
this happened to you. No, you didn't just drag me out here to get my fucking eyes gouged out by some little bitch. Fucking possessed by a bitch. And you know what I really don't like is the demon wasn't the original demon from the original movie.
It wasn't.
And somehow knows the backstory of Reagan. And was able...
I didn't understand that. That
was able
making
to
sense.
Taunt everybody, Well, I guess I don't know.
It was kind of crazy how the demons were turning. It was also stupid how the parents were listening to the demons, like pick me, pick me, pick me, and they're like, I'm like, it's obviously the devil, dude. Like, I don't know why they gave in so easy. Yeah. But then they also
dad's like, oh, don't save my child, and then fucking
that dad was annoying,
he
dude.
was a bitch. He was a fucking dude. So he straight up says, "Save my child," and then what? The other girl was she was baptized, and so she had the protection from God himself or whatever from God, and the other girl wasn't baptized. They were planning on baptizing her when she's older, which I don't know. You usually baptize kids when they're younger, and so
I know
that kind of stuff.
I know different religions do it different ways.
Yeah. So in this case, they wanted to wait till she's older so she can make her own decisions, which honestly cost her. The parents pretty much gave their child away.
Go to church.
Go to church.
Go to church.
I don't go to church.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to church, but I need to.
You jerk.
The power of cash grab compels you.
I love when she says in the movie, the parents are like they have them, back to back on the chairs and shit. And then the fucking girl turns. She's like, does the power of Christ compel you?
Is the power of Christ compelling me? Is that what's happening?
The power of Christ compels you.
Guess what? It's not that compelling.
I was like, why would you say that? Not at one point did anyone tell her that. And they obviously don't know the events of the original movie. So the only reason to say it is...
It was misplaced.
Yeah.
It was so
misplaced.
Like,
what the fuck?
Are you Pazuzu? Like...
the bitch? Don't fucking disrespect the OG, man.
So The Exorcist Believer is not good. I don't recommend it. Go watch the original one instead.
Yeah. I also have some additional points. So I did see this movie with my dad and my little brother.
Oh, yeah?
My dad said, and he wanted me to say this movie, no way, shape, or form will ever compare to the original movie. Ever. Not in anything.
Yes.
He said this movie...
I get that.
This movie will never compare. And Alex also said, it was okay. The original one was better. And
you should really have him watch the original one and then have him watch this one after.
No, but that's getting me to a very sad fact. Is the original movie is rated lower.
Because of this one.
Because of this movie.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart to say, but the original movie is a fucking masterpiece. It's a horror masterpiece, horror classic, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, it's only considered one of the greatest horror films.
One of probably the greatest.
Scariest horror film of all time.
In reference to horror, but obviously with different times and stuff, everything changes. There's some things you got to take out of films. There's scenes in the original where she's telling people to do nasty shit to her and telling people, this shit happens to people. But in this one, there's nothing that really, besides some off-site comments that the kids make, they're not threatening at all. They don't threaten me like Reagan did. Dude, Reagan fucking showed superhuman strength.
She showed everything.
She had fucking superhuman speed. She was able to crawl up walls. In this movie, were there any scenes where the kids crawl up walls to show you that they weren't humans anymore?
There was no build-up. There was just an exorcism. In the original one, they had the stair scene. They had the crucifix scene. All these elements that before the actual exorcism. In this one, they didn't have anything. They just jumped right into the exorcism.
Besides killing one or two people, there's nothing that shows that these girls. Besides, don't get me wrong, they are good actors. Yeah, but the story was god awful. Yeah, and didn't at one point advance the character enough of the children to show that they're threats, or to even show that when they're doing the exorcism, that they're fucking that this demon is like feeling anything from it. He's just throwing fucking offside comments out. Your fucking wife is dead. You might die. You could have saved your wife, but you saved your daughter.
This movie isn't scary.
It's not. Besides jump scares that don't really work. Even Alex doesn't like scary movies, but he did say that this movie isn't that scary.
Yeah, it pisses me off too when they insert those false scares too. Like, those are real eye rollers.
Filler scares.
But, so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah. The beginning was okay in Haiti. That Haiti scene with the earthquake and all that kind of stuff. It was okay.
I was loving the first half of the film. It's not until they get possessed when Chris McNeil comes in where it really pissed me off.
Honestly, the dad had more character development than anybody else in this movie.
Yeah,
I think he was the main protagonist, right?
And he has the best performance in the film.
He really
too.
Does.
Yeah,
next to I don't know, the two girls and maybe Chris McNeil.
I was thinking the priest.
Dude, shut up!
Stupid ass priest.
I want to roundhouse kick you over this damn table.
In context of the movie, I'm not saying priests are stupid. Just the one in this film is stupid.
The one in this movie is a coward.
Coward.
He's a pussy. He does nothing to. He doesn't go over what he's told to help these kids, dude. He doesn't do anything to help these damn children who are in fucking danger. He does not until they start berating him to, hey, come and help us and shit. They have to force the priest to help him. Pretty much. They really did.
Embarrassing.
And why did he show up in the first place? If he already knew that he wasn't allowed to do anything, why would he show up in the first place?
To give his blessings. Well, here's the thing. He was supposed to do the exorcism, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. They told him out. But they told him prior, don't do it. The Jedi Council or whatever. They told the priest, hey, don't do the exorcism because
that's right.
Not only puts their life in danger, but the kids, and it never ends well. People die and shit. So they told him don't do it. But for some reason, he still decides to show up and not do anything. He does sit in his car.
There was no point of him even.
There really wasn't. He could have been there and not been there. That movie would have ended the exact same way.
Same with Chris McNeil.
Yeah.
Just from the die. So
Just
stupid. Stupidly too. It was dumb.
I don't think he deserved to die. I really don't. Even though he's a dumb character, I don't think he deserved to die. He just made a really dumb decision to show up for no reason, and then at the last second go in thinking he's like a Rocky Balboa.
He deserved to die.
At that point, when you make a bad decision, whatever consequences you have coming to you. Partially whatever, besides whoever does whatever to you, it's your fault. Go around waving money over your head, expecting nobody to steal it from you. That's what he did. He went into the damn house, expecting to help, which he doesn't. Touches the girls on the heads, fucking jizzing or whatever the fuck he does. And then his fucking veins and shit turn blue. His veins turn different colors. And then he's like, the girls are twisting in their seats and shit. I was in my mind, dude, they're gonna do an awesome head twist, I
thought they were gonna bring that back too.
Call back to the original. The girls are fucking his hands on the head. They're gonna turn their head around all the way around, and then look up at the priest, and then say some crazy shit to him, and then he's gonna be like overpowered, and then his fucking neck was gonna break. That's what I was hoping. Instead, we got and then the priest fucking neck.
Scrap the slate. Fuck all that shit. The girl's in the mental hospital. The priest is the main character. He goes to the mental hospital and he takes on both of them like a badass.
No.
And then he fucking dies.
No. The church that they've already established in the movie have a priest there.
Like the one that was their pastor
That
that was comedically bad.
Yeah, that dude, I totally forgot he was a pastor.
Yeah.
I fucking forgot until you just said it right now.
I did not take his character serious at all.
He didn't do anything to contribute. No, he didn't.
What you mean is rewrite his character.
No. He didn't contribute anything. Get him out of there. This priest put him into that church. Whenever the girl comes up, this is when he started exercising, is when she comes up, body in the blood, whatever. Have the priest go up to her and then do some shit, whatever he feels, and then something happens to him. He doesn't die, he doesn't get hurt. And so nobody's in service, just the priest, the girl, and the family. And then all that right there, they do her exorcism in the church. And then the other girl, when she's in the mental hospital, while she's there, she doesn't get released to the family, whatever. The priest is like, holy shit, this worked. The girl's there. And then the little girl, she's all hurt, whatever. She's in the hospital. She's out of the picture. No more her. They go to the mental hospital and they're like, trying to exorcise her, but with her, it's harder.
Yeah.
And so the priest actually dies here, and then not only, the family's there and everyone's there, and then no Chris McNeil, nothing like that. No crazy shit like that. You bring the little girl, she comes in, and then the other girl sees her, and she's like, holy shit, weren't you fucking possessed, whatever? And so then she's like, hey, fight it, giving her shit. And then with willpower, this girl beats the demon.
Yeah.
And then that's how you do. You don't need no magical spells. You don't need any fancy callbacks, maybe a head twist here and there. But other than that, you could have a really simple movie with two different scenes, kind of like Revenge of the Sith, where there's two fight scenes going on that represent two different things.
Yeah.
Maybe one could represent a family altogether, the dad trying to come into, trying to, believe and shit, whatever. His wife is your spirits out there. So
like another story about regaining his faith.
Yeah, that. And then with the other girl, you can have a story of, let me see. So
that's really what it is it's a movie. It's a franchising movie about faith. It revolves around it. And like in all of them, I think.
And honestly, there's not much in this movie.
Yeah.
Besides people throwing fucking generic shit out there about God great, God this, good great, whatever, believe. There's no reason in the movie for them to act. And it's well said too. The girl tells her dad, she's like, you're not a believer. You don't believe, right? When he's kneeling down in front of her.
I just think this franchise should be touched. It's good. It's already drained to the last bone.
And I hate the idea that
this is going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
$400 million given to the team behind this.
The team.
And I thought this was like way past what they could have possibly done with this concept.
Dude, this movie could have been so good. Without callbacks to the original, just in its own universe.
Maybe if it was in the hands of a different team.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah.
Something with someone who has
and better writers too. I mean, the first few were based off of the books. This one wasn't even based.
It's just an idea.
Original screenplay.
Yeah. It's an idea that they couldn't hit it. They didn't hit it out of the park.
No.
I was really hoping they would. I was really hoping they would do something good with this movie.
This movie gave me a headache, but
it's alright.
It's not the worst movie I've seen all year.
No. You know what? I guess, you know what? It isn't the worst movie, yeah. Mm-mm. From the year. Dang. It's down there. But it's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but it's down there. But I definitely won't be revisiting this one.
No. Mm-hmm. Unless we have to. Probably in the future for a re-review or something.
Yeah, or if the stupid sequels come out.
Yeah.
But until then,
there's not much more to talk about.
other than
Besides praising the acting and the character, the some of the characters, it's
the actors were good with what they were given.
yeah.
And
Dude, if these actors were given a fucking good script, imagine what this movie could have been, dude.
but like I said, I do not recommend this film to anybody. I mean, if you want, go ahead, but you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just coming off watching the original one. This one doesn't provide anything new, nothing. But that's the review.
It's a review. Last words. This is not a Halloween movie. Honestly.
Out of 5 stars.
Out of 5 stars, I give it a 2 flat. Because of the acting is the entire 2 stars.
I'm giving it a 1. That's me being nice.
I'm giving it 2 because, yeah, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
But the acting really carried it. And the kids, I'm giving them praise as kid actors.
That's my 1 star.
There you go.
That's my 1 star going. That's what my 1 star is going to.
I'll take it.
But I'm Matt Lopez.
I'm Steven Gomez. And this was Primetime Flicks.
And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
We'll see you later.